What's up guys, YST here and welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today, I'm going to be speaking about my top 20 to 30 rare champions in 2022 that I feel hold really good value in this game. Now, I'm not saying that you guys should run away and max up all 30 of these rare champs, but just ones that I think you should keep an eye out and potentially might want to keep for specific scenarios, such as the Doom Tower, the secret rooms, faction wars, or some of the dungeon bosses. Most of them, to be honest, don't even need to be 6-starred. You might be able to leave them at rank 50 or rank 40, whatever it may be. But some of them do hold some really good value in this game, and that's what I really want to showcase. If there is a champion in this list that you guys really do like and I missed out today, please voice your opinions in the comment section below. This video will be a little bit long. I'm hoping to get it done in under 20 minutes. I'll probably spend around 30 seconds or so on each champion, just not to bore you guys. So just to start off this video, we're going to talk about starter champions. So Kael, Gallic, Aethel, and Kelhain. And these champions are all great in their own right. They help carry you from early to mid game on both the clan boss, arena progression, and dungeon clearing. So I'm not really going to speak about those. You probably know about those champions, but let me know below, which champion did you choose as your starter? But let's get into the actual list now. So I'll tell you if I would 6-star them, and I'll tell you if I think you should just leave them at like rank 40 or something. So first off, we've got Coldheart. Now this champion, I would actually 6-star, and I have 6-starred multiple on my account for Spider and specific dungeon bosses. And in progression, like Spider, dungeons, dragons, whatever you want to do, Coldheart is your chick. So A1 heal reduction, really nice for the Fire Knight's dungeon. We got an AoE decreased accuracy and a chance of placing poison if the target is under heal reduction. And then we've got the crazy ability in Heartseeker that can deal enemy max HP against those bosses. Now it is worth mentioning that enemy max HP doesn't scale as well against stage 25, but in progression you'll see a great value from this. And even in the more endgame dungeons in stage 25, still deals a lot of damage. Alright, next up is going to be in the demon spawn. I wrote a little list so I don't get messed up here. So demon spawn, and it's actually a farmable champion, so who knows about Diabolist? This champ I actually 6-starred on my account. I don't think you need to, it was more of a showcase thing. But first of all, it's her base speed at 110. Now this is crazy for a rare champion, and if you don't have your apothecaries yet or anything like that, you get increased speed on a 3-turn cooldown, but the positive charge fills the turn meters of all allies by 15% and then decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 15%. Now it's kind of a budget Deacon Armstrong in a sense. So you open up with this, allows you to come through with your CC abilities like provokes. On the next turn, place your increased speed, and then we've got an A1 just for a bit of damage. I actually did Speed Tuner in the clan boss before because it's a 30% increased speed on a 3-turn cooldown. To enable a team, yes, it's great, but in terms of damage, it's not there. So I personally wouldn't recommend it for Demon Lord. But yeah, pretty cool champion for PvP, I would say. Next up is in the Knight's Revenant, and it's going to be Renegade. Now, this is a champion that I use for my speed farm in the Spider's Lair, but I also see people use it in the Fire Knight, for example. Basically comes down to Sacrificial Ritual that can reduce the cooldown of all ally skills by 2 turns. So like a budget Kaimar. Also decreased speed on the A2 and a heal reduction on the A1 ability. Really strong champion. Next up, heading into the Dark Elves again, we're going to be going into Spirit Host. Now this champion is also really good because we got to remove all debuffs on all allies and then places a block debuff buff on all allies for 1 turn. So a nice strip ability there. Or should I say cleanse, with an increased attack on all allies for 2 turns, and an A1 that can heal by 50% of the damage inflicted, with a speed aura of 10% in all battles. So early to mid game progression for PvP, I really think that Spirit Host is a really solid champion. Okay, next up, Undead Hordes. It's going to be Frozen Banshee, the clan boss killer. Basically comes down to the poison and the poison sensitivity, dealing a bunch of damage against the Demon Lord and bosses in general, such as the Dragon. Alright, Dwarfs. One of my favorite factions in the game, and we're going to be talking about Bulwark. So defensive aura in all battles by 17%, which is really nice for a rare champion. We got a weaken on the A1, burn on the A2, and punishing defenses when attacked has a 30% chance of extending the duration of all debuffs on the attacker by 1 turn. Now, when you're facing Affinity Clan boss, you'll see a great value in this, extending decreased attack, burns, weakens, drop defense. So it's a really nice passive to have on a rare champion. Heading into the Barbarians, a farmable champion in War Maiden, and I'd say for early to mid game, basically loads of champions kind of surpass her, right? Stagnate and all of that good stuff once you start pulling some shards. But basically comes down to the Crumbling Blast with an AoE drop defense on a 100% chance. Now this champ I wouldn't 6-star personally. I'd probably leave her at a rank 50. But yeah, for a rare champion I think she's really solid, and also a poison on the A1 ability. Okay, so Ogryn Tribes. So this champion I actually would 6-star. Where is he? Don't know why we're looking at Epic's YST. So Bellower. Now this champion has AoE abilities, so area of effect, on every single skill. And this enables you to use taunting sets, stun sets, and really starts to make him a phenomenal champion. But in terms of gear set, we got decreased speed, decreased attack, drop defense, but it is the lower versions of those. And also a block active skills on the A1, with a speed and faction crips by 15%. Now you could do loads of things with this, like CC and waves, as I said, with the stun sets for Doom Tower, faction wars clearing, campaign farming. Bellower is just a phenomenal champion to have as a rare champ. Okay, so talking about campaign, we're going to go into the Demon Spawn again, and we're going to pick out Fellhound. One of the best, or if not the best, rare champion for speed farming the campaign in this game. And basically comes down to his A1 ability with Ravage that can literally attack all enemies and deal a nice amount of damage. Also a block damage on certain champions, and a reflect damage with continuous heals. So Fellhound, really good. And if you're not using him for campaign, I personally wouldn't 6-star on my account anyway. Okay, Apothecary, early to mid game, really solid carry. I remember the first time I pulled him. And if you're looking for a champion to crack the shield of Fire Knight, 3-time hitters at random, which is amazing. We got increased speed on all allies for 2 turns and filling of turn meters, with a nice heal on the A2 ability. Also, dungeons in 21% on the aura. I think that's significant. Let me know, do you guys still use Apothecary in 2022? If you're kind of endgame, I'd say. But yeah, really solid champion there. Okay, so next one is in the Dark Elves, I believe. Yes. And it's going to be... Where are you? Painkeeper. Now, this champion is really great. Like, if you think about budget unkillable teams, if you think about the Iron Twins, everybody knows about the combat tactics, which can decrease the cooldowns of all ally skills by 1 turn, And in the Iron Twins, you can use multiple of these to keep it under control and get your skills out on time. Alongside Man-Eaters, for example, making sure you can get those abilities up in those budget unkillable teams. But also a great healer for faction wars with the AoE heal here. So I am a huge fan of Painkeeper, and one that I would 6-star on my account if I needed her in those specific things. Okay, so next up is going to be in the Ogryn Tribes, a bit of a niche champion, but can hit really hard, and that is Ogryn Jailer. So we got attack 1 enemy, damage increases by 20% if the target has no active buffs, chance of removing 1 random buff, and also stealing 2 random buffs with a nice little extra hit if any buff is stolen. The only time I would max up this champion is for fun and for secret rooms, personally. Apart from that, probably power crept by a bunch of champions. Okay, so next up in the Knights Revenant, it's going to be Coffin Smasher. Now, for early to, I'd say, probably just early game, Demon Lord Clan Boss, we got a decreased attack with a 3-time hitter for Giant Slayer procs. We got a HP burn on the A2, and a damage mitigation of 5% from AoE attacks to keep your champions under control. Okay, so Skinwalkers. Now, I had to pick out this champ, so Gnarlhorn. Really solid for Faction Wars progression, and as you guys know, it's infamous for being a really hard Faction Wars to complete, and placing an unkillable buff on this champion for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, really solid. Also, a provoke on all enemies for 1 turn to keep them under control, and also an A1 which damage increases according to how much HP this champion has lost, and the attack cannot be a strong, critical, or weak hit. So I know a lot of people like that champ, so I thought I'd give it a call out. But for me, I wouldn't 6-star him. Okay, next up will be a big shout out to Cold Brew Gaming. Paragon. Now, we did get a bit of a nerf with the Iron Twins Fortress, so not viable there, but also does stand a lot of greatness in so many other places. Comes down to this ability here, which damage control, which can place an unkillable buff and a 25% increased attack buff on a target ally for 2 turns. Now, when you're thinking about clearing your Nightmare campaign battle against the Mortu Macabre, really strong, and also against specific bosses to solo content if your account doesn't allow you to complete those, right? So kind of holds its own value in the game, but mine is personally at a 4-star because if he's always unkillable, you don't need to 6-star him, right? Alright, who we got next here? Ooh, Corpulent Cadaver. So from the Undead Hordes. Now, once again, very niche, but if you're talking about the endgame world record clan boss teams, he's remarkable, and it basically comes down to places a shield buff on this champion equal to 20% of their max HP for 3 turns, grants an extra turn. But on the A1 with Crushing Mass, attacks 1 enemy and inflicts additional damage if this champion is under a shield buff. The damage is equal to 30% of the value of the shield. So if you're growing the shield in those kind of endless compositions, able to deal a lot of damage in that specific scenario. But apart from that, I wouldn't really max that champion for anything else, personally. For a very similar reason, actually, Hellborn Sprite in the Demon Spawn. Very similar thing, works really cool in its compositions, with the increasing the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn, and also an increased crit rate. So really solid for that team. Heal reduction on a 3-time hitter, and a weaken on the A1 ability. Once again, niche, but for the Demon Lord clan boss, and I wouldn't 6-star unless you was building it for that specific team. Okay, next up is going to be in the High Elves faction. And it's actually a new one in Prosecutor, and it's actually one of my new favorite champs. And as I was saying in my previous video, if you want to check it out, this is the most consistent AoE decrease speed champion for a rare champion in this game. And it comes down to a 75% chance of placing that decreased speed on a 3-turn cooldown, which lasts for 2 turns. Very vital. We've got a 10 meter reduction on the A1, and also increased accuracy and heal reduction on the A3 ability, making this champ become a really strong Fire Knight candidate. So yeah, if I was to max her, it would be for Fire Knight or early game progression for the Dark Fae. But Secret Rooms as well, I'm a huge fan of Prosecutor. Staying on the theme of High Elves, we cannot talk about, well, we should talk about Reliquary Tender. I use for my Never Spider team, and also a really strong cleanser in general. So we got a full out cleanse here with continuous heal, really nice for a rare. And then revives an ally with 30% HP and 10 meter. Now, I actually think this champion is worthy of a 6-star. I personally use in the Never Spider. But just in general for Secret Rooms and specific scenarios, we've got a revive for a rare for Faction Wars. We've got a full out cleanse and the low cost value of rare books. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of that champion for sure. Okay, next up is going to be in the Knights Revenant. And it's going to be Acolyte. Acolyte, however you want to say it. Really strong champion actually. So a full out cleanse on a 4-turn cooldown. We got a decreasing of turn meter by 50%. That's really strong on an A2 ability, but it is on a 4-turn cooldown. But also fills this champion's turn meter by 25%. And I think it's a simple but effective kit, potentially just for the maybe Fire Knight progression with the turn meter reduction, but yeah, probably just a Faction Wars champion in my personal opinion. Next up is going to be, what faction is she in? The Barbarians. And it will be Soban Boya. Now, this champion I've actually never used, so I can't speak in it too much. Just reminds me of Pikachu from Pokemon. But she does have an AoE A1, which has an additional 25% chance of inflicting critical hits. Then we've got Infused Arrow with an A1. Attacks one enemy, has an additional 25% chance of inflicting critical hits as well. And it will ignore 75% of the target's defense. Now, this is strong for a single target. and also attacks one enemy and has an additional chance of inflicting critical hits. Now, the reason why I like this champion is you can build it with 75% crit rate and be able to get full value of her damage scale abilities. But she does have a crit rate in all battles by 12% too. So specific places in the game, I think she will be someone that you might want to have on your account. Next up is actually a bit of an underrated one, and I want to give him a call out. So from the Shadowkin, my favorite faction in the game, we have got Odachi. Is that how you say it, guys? I don't want to bash the names again. Odashi? I'm just going to say Odachi. I think that sounds pretty reasonable. But attacks one enemy, we got provokes. We got a shield on a 3-turn cooldown, making this really viable on a 2-turn duration. And then we got our block debuffs and increased defense on all allies for 2 turns. And I think that's pretty significant on a 3-turn cooldown, right? For Demon Lord Clan Boss or progression in general. So I do like Odachi, really solid champ. Next one, big shout out to my boy Nub. We're going to talk about Kurzad. And he's got a decreased speed if the attack is critical. And I think that is remarkable for an A1 skill, especially for somewhere like maybe the Iron Twins for progression. Could be really, really solid there. An AoE, which each critical hit fills this champion turn meter by 7.5%. So kind of a budget Growhawk the Bloodied vibe. And then we got increased accuracy and a chance of placing a 30% drop defense debuff for 2 turns. And I think for a Void rare champion, increased accuracy, decreased speed on the A1, I think he's viable to be a 6-star champ if that's what you're after in terms of abilities. So right next to him, we're going to be talking about Dilgo, the Shotgun Master. Now, he's also got decreased speed A1, but it's the smaller variation. We've got a decreased accuracy on an AoE 2-time hitter, and I think that's pretty significant. And attacks one enemy 3 times and has a chance of placing the big version of drop defense for 2 turns. So if you're looking for a drop defense champion, I think he keeps that up consistently with a decreased speed as well and a decreased accuracy. Maybe not a 6-star worthy, but for a filler champion for Faction Wars, I could see a lot of play with Dilgo for sure. Oh, we're staying in the dwarfs, guys. We got another one. Now, where are you, dude? Now, for one specific area in this game, potentially multiples, Master Butcher. Now, with his heat exchange, when attacked, can heal all allies equal to the amount of damage taken. Does not work against bosses. Now, this champion is so strong against Bommel, guys. Really strong, because Bommel itself is the boss, right? But the minions, so the Dread Bombs themselves, are not classed as bosses, so they're classed as enemies. So when they're attacking you, you're actually healing, right? So pairing this with like a Vogoth, you start to get yourself in a rhythm of really surviving a long time and leading you to a successful run. So for the passive alone, I really like that. And also revives a random ally with full HP when this champion is killed, which can really clutch you that win. We've also got provokes as well, and the A1 for another provoke. So in general, I think if you need a Bommel champion, he could be a really standout there. Now, I know you guys are screaming at the screen right now, how on earth have you not called out this chick yet? Let's talk about RS. So, like, guys, you know about the clan boss teams. Basically comes down to this one, with a Myth Air. Removes 1 random debuff from all allies, so a little cleanse. And a 60% chance of placing a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. And this enables all of those amazing clan boss teams you see out there. Last on my list, I believe, is going to be from the Bannerlords. And it's going to be Valerie. Now, there is a bit of clunkiness against the Spirit Affinity sometimes, where the clan boss likes to deter weird things. But I do have a video on that, which you can check out on the channel. But just in general, an increased duration of all allies by 1 turn, and also decreases the duration of all debuffs on all allies by 1 turn. Very similar to Sandlash Survivor and Godseeker Aniri. I think this is a standout rare ability. With a rubbish A1, I guess, and a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns, and the value of the shield depends on this champion's level. So, mainly for the A2 ability there. But yeah, guys, I think that was 30. If you did enjoy the video, I would highly appreciate a like and a subscription. Let me know if I missed out one of your favorite rare champions. And yeah, I think we did cover a good bunch today. I didn't want to talk about kind of meh ones, just the ones that I feel do hold a strong value in this game in specific scenarios. So yeah, catch you guys in the next one, and peace.